What's up guys, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you are all having a wonderful week. Before we start this video, I just want to say a massive thanks to all the support that I've been getting on the channel from our awesome viewers. If you're new to the channel and you don't know, about just under a week ago I went over on my ankle and I did a pretty bad job of it. So I've got a pretty severe sprain of the ankle, and all the love that I've got from the channel, the positive messages wishing me a quick recovery in my rehab have been amazing. It's blown my mind, the support, so thanks very much guys, we really appreciate it. You can probably see behind me we are back at Move Physio Cornwall to see Paul Coker. Paul got a lot of love on the channel, he's an amazing physio, and the stuff he did to me on Monday, I'm quite amazed at the speed of my recovery. So it's been going well, fingers crossed we're heading in the right direction, but we've come back today to get a second assessment so Paul can have a look at how rehab's been going. So let's get masked up, let's get inside and let's see Paul.
Yeah, well, you look really good from a swelling point of view given the stage that you're at. You know, often it takes kind of a week to 10 days for that stuff to really kind of come down, but it is a lot less swollen than it was last time you were in here, so that's good news. And so we'll run through some bits on that, because it really is the sort of top priority. Get the swelling down, get the range of motion back into it. Right, can we see you walk then? Let's have a look.
Right.
So much better. Bit sort of tight when you, just as you take off.
Yeah, it's when you're going through to sort of toe off.
So you pick an end, right, and if I go like that, it hurts, right?
Hurts.
But if I push the tape down...
Yeah. You've never showed me that.
How many years have you been putting rock tape?
That is so deep. Normally I just have these weird shave lines where I've shaved my leg.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt at all.
No, because it's the follicles being pulled out of your skin that hurts, so you just push them back down. Right, so yeah, looking much better. Got a nice bruise coming out down here. That doesn't mean that's where you're damaged, that's simply the bottom of the bottle where the swelling runs out from the area. So your tenderness is more likely to tell you where the worst damage is. Yeah. And with less swelling in the joint, we can say a lot more about what's wrong with it. We didn't really cover that last time, but like when you've got a balloon-sized joint, nobody can really tell you what's wrong with it without an MRI machine, right? Because it's all just kind of sore and swollen. So we can see now that this inside of the joint looks pretty unscathed. Little bit of tail bruising up here and a tiny bit running through from this bit down here. Let's say, just think of it as running down to the bottom. So we'll always end up with a lot of bruising around this area. So if we come up around the outside of the fibula there.
Yeah.
That's pretty sore there.
Yeah, it sort of works around there up my shin. And that's kind of where it's aching.
Yep.
You know, okay, not painful, just it aches.
There as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the fibula coming down the outside there, and then there's two main ligaments. The ATFL goes across the front and the CFL goes down to the bottom there. So that one basically joins the bone to the heel bone, and this one joins it to the kind of front ankle bone through there. And we do see disruption to those ligaments as a result of the ankle sprain quite often. And basically, if I pull like that, I test that front one. Any pain?
Actually feels quite nice.
Go this way for the one underneath. And they both appear to be holding pretty firm.
That feels a bit tender, but yeah, just there when you, right towards the end of that foot, it's a bit...
Feel it a little bit, yeah, that's fine. If we don't damage either of these two major structures, as the foot twists like this, the whole fibula gets yanked and comes forward, and what we essentially see is a joint strain at the bottom of the leg, and sometimes involving the ankle and bone as well. But it's this fibula that we're really interested in. And if it's not happy, then it's going to block those kind of movements that you don't like. So we got toes up to shin. Do that one for me now. So that's dorsiflexion.
Yeah.
And as runners, we really need this.
Yeah.
So you need like 10-15 degrees more for running than you do for walking. So it's super critical. Point your toes down. Pretty tight that way as well, really. And if we do it compared to the other one, so do this one up and this one up, and then this one down and this one down, because everyone's going to have different levels of flexibility, so we're really comparing to this side. And you are quite tight in that toe pointing movement anyway. You sort of fail that kind of straight line test through there. Right, and then back up again. Not the most mobile body ever made. Like rest is pretty important that we get that amount right. Ice is hugely overrated. So putting ice on for a long period of time, more than 10 minutes after your injury, definitely decreases blood supply to the area, and that goes completely against what your body's trying to do when it heats it up and swells it after the injury.
Yeah.
And so we can use ice for a bit of pain reduction because it does numb nerve endings, and so you feel things less. But if that's the job we're after the ice doing, it only takes 5, maximum 10 minutes to kind of achieve that. And with a short period of ice application, we don't see that reduction in blood supply, but we do see a bit of a reduction in pain. Compression is really important, particularly when we're dealing with the ankle and the knee. So the further downstream it is on the human body, if the heart is where we're trying to get the blood supply and the fluid management system all kind of based around, the further down it is, the longer it's going to take for the swelling to go away.
Yeah.
So we get this on nice and tight, right? And all I've done is essentially wrap round, giving the band a little bit of a stretch as we go up. It should be kind of nice and tight, but comfortable. So 2 to sort of 5 minutes, basically. You should be able to keep it on for at least 2 minutes. If you can keep it on for 5 minutes and you're not even feeling like you want to take it off after that length of time, you could probably wrap it a little bit tighter.
It definitely felt like it's one.
Yeah. But like, what you don't want to do is give yourself any kind of pins and needles tingling, kind of super white toes. So we're looking for kind of a partial occlusion and a squeeze over the area. And then with that on, we're going to add muscle pumps. So the more the muscles are moving and everything sliding around, the more we help to essentially squish the fluid back out of the body. So you're going to go north and south with your big toe, kind of focusing on really trying to move the actual ankle itself. It's easy to convince yourself you're doing quite a lot with the end of your toes, and what we're really concerned about is stretching right through here in the actual ankle joint itself. And the band squeezes things, and then when we move with that on, what we probably do is kind of increase the movement of those deeper layers, because we kind of glued the skin down to the top of the tissue. So as we're moving around, I reckon we get a bit of increased movement at those kind of deeper interfaces. And when we've got something like this joint injury, then we're pretty interested in that. So that's north and south. Now you're going to go east and west. Which one?
Going out, I just haven't got a great deal of movement at all.
And so this is where you'll have kind of inhibition from a muscle point of view. As that muscle got a really big stretch and elongation and possibly a little bit of damage, it sort of switches off or goes right down to kind of 20% of its kind of maximum capacity. And then the important thing to understand about any individual muscle is that its sensory input will drive a lot of its motor output. So good input in equals good input out. So you're going to try and turn your foot out towards me here, this way. And it doesn't go very far, and then relax. So now what we'll do is add just a little bit of really gentle vibration over the muscle belly that pulls the foot into that movement. So fibularis muscle on the outside here. All right, and now you're going to take the foot to that outside. And relax. Go the other way as well, so give it a full stretch out. And what the vibration's doing is essentially kind of massively increasing the amount of input that's coming from that area to the brain. And as we do that, we can kind of help to switch that power back on again. So one really nice thing to work on is this idea of precision, right? So you've got to move from here to here and only go to my fingers, right? So you've got to go from here. By making the movement precise, again, we're demanding lots of attention from the brain. So now you've got to do that, and Lloyd, the only difference this time, you've got to shut your eyes. Okay, so feel the finger, and then move away as soon as you feel it. Reach, got it. See that? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it's just like a brain-rich movement, think of it that way.
Yeah.
And when all is said and done, after the tissue's healed up and your ankle still feels dodgy years later, you know who you are. The damage is to the nerve. The bad stuff is your neurology. The tissue heals, the brain remembers, and the nervous system can just sit there not working very well, not sensing the movement very well. If we lose motion in joints and we lose activation in muscles as a result of the injury, the amount of input coming from that foot is forever diminished, and so your balance is less good and you tend to just stiffen up and tighten up. But then anytime your foot does tip like this, you're guaranteed that you're going over on it because you've got no competency going that way. Yeah. So that's the worst bit though there, right? And I am basically right on top of that joint. Could be where ligament attaches into the bone potentially, but for me a lot of the ankle sprains that we'll see, the joint's the main thing that's injured, and we panic a lot about our ligaments and we don't get on with sorting the joint out soon enough. So just do one more set of these. Yeah. Squish, turn in. Good. Pull up. Relax. We can play that similar sort of precision and motivation game where, see, we're all children really. Give us a target to aim at and we'll try harder.
Yeah.
We know a few things about Lloyd's kind of special body. Do that hard as you can.
I can cover my toes.
See a difference? As you look down it, you can see that?
Yeah, massive.
Whenever you sprain your ankle, you get this change in the neurology. That's what makes you so tender to the touch there. It's part of what brings that swelling to the area. We think of it as like a leak in the tissue, but it's no accident. Your body and your brain charges that fluid down into the area to stabilize it. But we get these kind of changes in the neurology. Nothing works for everyone, right?
Yeah, sure.
So what we're going to have a look at is how if changing sensory input helps with movement and or balance, right? So you know what this feels like, but give us one of them just as a marker. Good. Yeah. Back up. Stand on your sore ankle. If you try and look left, look right.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Shut your eyes. Oh, you're not that bad. Oh. And then relax, right? So stand on there. So this is basically going to be like cluster bomb of sensory input.
Standing on Lego.
Therapeutic Lego standing, yeah. Oh. So as you stand there, what you're going to do is just sway your weight from side to side. First question is, does it feel more or less spiky underneath your sore foot? Less spiky, right? So there's less sensation coming up from it. And that's often what we see is kind of the sensory input from the area is kind of diminished as a result of the injury. But doing something like this can be really helpful to kind of flood that input. But only for some people. So what we need to do is check, right? So you're going to have a look at that movement as you stand on there. Yeah, better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It sharpens the map, think of it that way, like it takes that pixelated image that your brain has of that foot and makes it high definition in an instant, and then you kind of relax and you go, oh yeah, I can move that, right? Because the more information you've got, the more kind of confidence you'll have around your movement. Yeah. So that's cool, right? So then have a little go at your single leg stand on there. It shouldn't be that.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean that's...
But sticky like glue, right?
Yeah.
So worth a little discomfort.
Yeah, do you think a lot of it is because I'm focusing on the pain of the mat?
We all do.
And it takes my mind off of the other thing.
Yeah, I mean that's the basic battle of my job is the pain is the shiny loud thing that people want their attention on. Yeah. And although it's important and we need to treat those things, we need to look at the system as a whole. And like if you balance better on that leg, you will walk better on that leg. And if you walk better, then you're going to feel better.
That is bonkers.
Take that. So what we're basically going to do is go with that slingshot type taping, and this would be my sort of default if you've got an ankle that has recently been sprained or you have one that turns over easily. This would definitely be my kind of go-to taping to try for that, right? So we start just in front of where it's sore, because the first kind of couple of centimeters of tape are really just holding it to the skin, and then we're just going to take that to the bump of the ankle. And then the next bit's where we want to get a bit of stretch on it, right? So we can potentially give a little shove at the same time as that we give a little.
No, in here it's painful anymore. Crazy, isn't it?
Pain is your brain's best estimation of the current threat from that bit of tissue.
Yeah.
It's not very directly related to the degree of damage. When you completely snap stuff in your ankle, people often only kind of get worried because they can't stand up.
Yeah.
Like the pain's actually worse when the sprain is relatively mild and the nervous system kind of remains intact. You know, like once you've torn things in two, they can't really tell you much about what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel like lighter and a bit kind of freer with just that one piece on, but it should do just enough to kind of keep that kind of positive feeling in there. I like to think of it like giving a bit of an early warning system to here. So like as you turn your foot there, the tape starts to stretch kind of straight away, and it kind of just talks that little bit quicker. And there is this important point here, like the ankle shows us how bad the damage is in those first few days. But it's not just because of my awesome treatment that you're moving like this, it's because of awesome nature and healing processes, right? Like within a couple of weeks, people are often starting to return to walking relatively normally. Have a go at your single leg stand on that side. So let's see if we can get those arms down to relax by side. If this is hard, then this is your balance exercise, right? If it's not hard, then before you go buying wobble cushions and boards and things to stand on, work on some basics of balance. So basics of balance are head movement in this position. So you're going to look at your toes. Look there for 5 seconds, then look forward again. Look over your left shoulder. These will often be harder than up and down. And a lot of people will find one direction they really struggle with. How about the middle?
Look at me that one.
To the same side.
Same side of the injury,
Now this time keep your head still and now only move your eyes, okay? So your nose stays onto me and you're gonna look left and then look right. So he's looking left and he's falling over. Harder than moving your head, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Look right.
Oh, Jesus.
Take a minute, shake it out. This is your glute being used for what it's for, which is stabilizing your pelvis during single leg stance when things are quite hard from a balance point of view. So a nice little drill we can make out of that is you're going to stand on one leg, you're going to hold your thumbs out like that, just at the edge of your peripheral vision. So if you go like that, they're not there, right? As you bring them in, where do you see them? And now all you got to do is look at one thumb and then look at the other thumb. Don't move your head though.
Oh no.
So to get our visual field going, we've got two tactics: neck turn and head and eye movement, right? And when it comes to working on your balance, one of those will usually feel worse. If people get a lot of neck problems, then it'll often be turning their head. I'm the same as you. Like just moving my eyeballs feels harder than moving my head. Because balance is a triangle. It's your eyes, your inner ears, and your ankle, right? Like, and you can feel that even today, 5 days after an ankle sprain, your ankle's not the weak link in the chain, buddy. Okay, so really, like, super easy things, right? Have a little rest a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand with your feet pretty close together. You're going to put your right hand on your chest and you're going to keep that still. Hold your arm out in front of you like that. You're going to turn your shoulder about 45 degrees. And at the same time as doing that, you're going to stare at your thumb. So you're going to stare at your thumb and you're going to turn your head as you go round the corner. So as you look at the thumb there, you should still be looking straight forward, right? Come back round again. And just stare at your thumb, turn 45 degrees, head and arm moving in synchrony. Come back round again. That's great if you could just keep your hand still and actually move your head this time. This hand stays still. So this is going to stay still, and you're turning your head and moving your arm. Now you're off. And viewers, what you should see is as he comes past, he's staring down the barrel, right? His eyes aren't looking left or right, he's looking straight forward relative to his face, because his thumb's always dead in front of his nose. Good?
Yeah.
Got the hang? I'm going to let go, see if you can still do it. There we go, quick learner. So now look right, With left.
Just with my eyes.
With left. Good. With right. Okay. Yeah, okay.
So how's that work then?
We don't have
in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, it makes your eyes and your inner ears talk to each other in a very coordinated way, and they are the two big players in balance. Our body is third place in quite a distant way in terms of how we put together balance neurologically. 90% of it plus is basically happening with our inner ears and our eyes. And then our kind of foot and body is the kind of small part player. The ankle being very important from the body's point of view, but our inner ears, these tiny little structures buried in the bone of our skull, work as an accelerometer to tell us everything we need to know about up, down, side to side, tilt, spin and all that jazz. And whenever we have an injury like this, they tend to be slightly off on one side of the body. Think about this as like just really good kind of brain candy for your inner ear on that side. Really forces you to pay attention to it and to use it really precisely. So just like doing this for your ankle, it's doing that for your kind of neck up balance senses. But what it does is allow you to jump into balance exercises one level higher than before you did that. So the procedure is you stand there, you do 5 or 6 of them to your right hand side, then you get on your right leg and you do eye darts side to side, either using your thumbs as targets or using just something in the room as a target. And it'll also help with any time that you're just falling to that side. So if you're trying to do single leg stand with your eyes shut, couple of these first to kind of prep that side of your body, and then you go.
Right, we are all done. Another great session with Paul. Cheers, mate. Elbow pump. Awesome.
No problem at all.
Obviously, there's a lot of love for Paul on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description, so if you want to get in contact with Paul, he is a great guy. His knowledge is amazing, as you can see from the videos that we've done. But yeah, check out the link, check out Paul, check out Move Physio. It's well worth a visit. Even if you're up country, it's well worth coming down and paying him a visit. But cheers, mate.
No worries. Thank you.
Oh. So there we have it, guys. Another great session with Paul Coker, Move Physiotherapy Cornwall. Amazing stuff that he gets me to do. I'm amazed how well it works, and the recovery is definitely moving in the right direction. I can't believe we're not even a week in from when I injured it, and how well the ankle is moving and feeling, and how much the swelling has gone down. So feeling way more positive than I was before about it, and it's so good to be in the hands of Paul and his extensive knowledge. I hope you enjoyed seeing a few more pearls of wisdom from Paul Coker. It looks like in the other video, all the comments, a lot of people were impressed with what he said. He really is a great guy, well worth checking out if you haven't already, guys. If you did enjoy it, guys, don't forget, give us a big thumbs up, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to be bringing you more content to the channel over the coming weeks. Even though I can't get out there and run in shoes and running kit and bring you kit reviews, we're going to come up with some interesting ideas for content. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. We will see you in the next video, and as always, stay safe and keep on running.